Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is March 19th, Tuesday, and Hassan Mahmood, world-renowned person on Sharia law, who can answer any question you have on Sharia. And he has done quite an extensive work in correcting some of the errors in Sharia, particularly in Bangladesh and other nations, Pakistan and India as well. And when he heard me talk about the weddings, I conduct the interfaith marriages, he was curious and he wanted to talk to me about it. And this is the conversation we're going to. Hassan, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm still a student of Sharia law. It's a huge subject, vast subject, and complicated too. I'm still learning.
But no one can
Uh,
explain the details as you can.
no, there are other good people. Lots of scholars are there. Good scholars. Trust me. I feel tiny little when I stand in front of them. Let's come back to this topic. It's very interesting that you conduct interfaith marriages. I want my community diaspora to know about it as much as possible. We will keep this event short and concise. So, what is the name of your organization?
It's called interfaithmarriages.org.
So, that's the website. Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you. Is it registered?
it is.
Okay. Uh, the marriages you conduct, is it acceptable by American law?
Yes. We
Good.
do two-part. The weddings are usually two-part.
Mm-hmm.
One is the civil part,
Mm-hmm.
where they get the license from the county or the
Mm-hmm.
city and bring
Mm-hmm.
it to me, and I am authorized to sign that license. That is the legal part of the marriage.
Okay.
The religious part of the marriage
Okay.
is the Muslim or Christian, Jewish. This nikah, the service would be religious part. So there are two parts to every wedding.
Okay. So as a Muslim, you can conduct Islamic part very well. Any Muslim can actually conduct Islamic marriages. But
Absolutely.
how do you cover the religious part of other religions? Because suppose you are not a Buddhist or Christian, how
Mhm.
do you cover that part, religious part?
I'm very blessed to have run this organization, Center for Pluralism, for the last
Okay.
27 years.
Okay.
And I have done workshops on every religion, from atheist to Zoroastrian. And I have done radio shows, like a 780 hours of radio show on for example, 104 hours on Islam, 104 on Christianity, 52 on Judaism, 52 on Baha'i, Buddhism, Sikhism. So, and that has given me quite a lot of knowledge to talk about each religion conveniently, as if a priest from Buddhism or Sikhism is speaking.
Beautiful. Uh, I am curious to know that in Islam, any Muslim can conduct the marriage. Is it
Indeed.
similar? Is it so in Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism,
Uh,
or they need an educationally qualified clergy to conduct the marriage?
what they are looking for is actually the majority of the Americans, kids that are marrying, even adults marrying, they're doing it to please their parents.
Oh,
It is really not what they want. They're happy with going to the court or getting a license coming and getting me to sign it. That will work. But they want a touch of their religion.
okay, good.
For
Now, as a
example,
yeah, go ahead.
if I
Yeah.
do the Hindus ceremony, I always, after the initial openings, I begin with Surah Fatiha, recite in Arabic, translate in English. Then in Sanskrit, I will talk about the Gayatri Mantra and translate into English. Both are very identical. And
Oh,
A Hindu bride or groom feels it is part of their wedding. Then during the ceremony, I will talk about the bride, talk about the groom, all about a minute, talk about their families, and then talk about the faiths, how the two faiths, whether it is Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, or any, along with Islam, how these two faiths coming together enrich their lives.
Okay. I believe there is a fees for your service, right?
Of course,
Good. Is it constant or the same for any interfaith marriage, or it varies?
it is same for all.
Okay.
I,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't want to have different things so that I will be confused.
Yeah.
Same fee for everyone. That way, there is no confusion. There is a full clarity about it.
Okay. As it is open to public people, and my viewers will want to know the amount. Are you comfortable telling the amount?
Not really, because when
Okay.
I talk to
Okay.
them, it is their families and how they want it.
Okay, fine. Now, let me come to challenges as a Muslim. Suppose two, uh, suppose it is Shia marriage, okay?
Mm.
And they want to marry according to their muta system,
Mm-hmm.
which is allowed in Zafri Sharia law.
Mm-hmm.
Muta marriage. Would you conduct it?
I don't know particularly about the Muta marriage, but I have done a lot of Shia, Sunni, and Shia Ahmadi weddings. And what we do is go to the generalities. For example, in
Okay.
Shia tradition, we talk about Hadith Kisa. We recite that Hadith Kisa, and then later on, I will narrate it in English what Hadith Kisa is about. Then also, we put the Imam Zamin, the mothers will put the Imam Zamin, and they feel, and I also do the dua. It has come to me naturally, Hassan. In my family, for example, where I was raised not as a Shia, but we did not have separation. For example, my father, my taya, my father's older brother, when they do the dua, they always said, Panjatane Pak ke sadqe. That includes you of all the five holy people. And as a result, I'm comfortable saying Panjatane Pak ke sadqe se, let God bless this wedding.
Okay. Now let me come back to our theology. Surah Baqarah, chapter 2,
Mhm.
verse 2 to 1,
Mhm.
clearly forbids Muslims to from marrying polytheists or mushriks. So how do you explain that?
Absolutely. Quran calls, and there are 50 verses in the Quran that calls each one of us to question, think, and reflect each verse.
Mm-hmm.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Mm-hmm.
when he in his last sermon he said, "I am leaving this book to you. You read, understand." He didn't say,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm assigning this book to Al Azhar University or Sheikh Hassan Mahmood," but he said, "You read, you understand," and he fully understood Prophet Muhammad when he said that it is your experience, personal life, that comes into understanding that. And that's uh, from that point of view, let me go to this mushrikeen part.
Yes. Yes.
The mushriks were the one who were oppressors at the initial stage of Islam when it was spreading. They were ready to kill Prophet Muhammad, Ali, Abu Bakr Siddiq, everybody who called themselves a Muslim, they were ready to kill them. And also they waged wars on them. So they were the mushriks. And
So
also,
today's idol worshippers, they are not mushriks?
no, the mushrik is somebody who dilutes the God's sovereignty, God's dominion, except the real atheist. No, whether you are a Hindu, Buddhist, or Jain, or what Sikh, you believe in one God, ultimate one God, and you cannot be called mushrik. And also the mushriks at that time, it's a very clear reasoning. Islam is about reason and logic. Everything in Islam, if it doesn't make sense, then it is not Islam. Let me come to that point. Mushriks are those people who, if you look at even in the United States or any country in the world at that time, they killed, for example, in Arabia, it happens in India even today. They kill the, if their daughter is born in the family, they buried her alive, small baby daughter. They killed her. That because they didn't feel any moral pangs. They didn't feel anything. they were mushriks. Prophet Muhammad, he wished one time before he started propagating Islam, I wish my community also has a book like Christians and Jews. What he meant by that, they're following certain guidelines prescribed in a book. And his fellow Arabs did not have any book. Whoever wanted to do anything, there was lawlessness, disorder in the society. So he wished that they had a book. So they are the mushriks because they did not follow any rules. They did not have any guidelines, and they killed. They go shoot anybody. I see Western movies every day. In the Western movies, about 150 years ago in the US, they would kill somebody at the bar. Somebody comes, looks to you or laughs at you, they will kill with no consequence. That's how
Okay.
the Arab society was in that time. So given that, they were labeled as mushrik. Today, Hindu, there is not a single Hindu in the world who does not believe in one God. They believe in different forms. God is representation in different formats. For example, in Islam, we have God and his prophets who try to bring peace. In Hinduism, God is represented by three major icons, Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu, different aspects of God. They got avatars, their representations like Krishna, Rama, and others. Same thing in Islam. So I will not call them mushrik because they believe in singularity of God's power. So they are not
Okay.
mushriks in my mind.
Thank you. This is your personal tafsir. I'm not too sure how Muslim world will take it. But suppose Buddhism.
Well, for example, you,
Yeah.
Hassan, you have corrected many errors in Sharia. People have accepted, not the entire Muslim community, but a majority of the Muslims are seeing the reason and rationality in your questioning and your expression. Same thing. When I'm explaining this uh, to the people, many Muslims say, yes, this is the right thing. Why did we
Okay.
have to believe the other one? They are coming around.
Okay. You said your part. I understood it. I was talking about the acceptance of wider Muslim community. You said that many Muslims were convinced. Let's
40% of Muslims in the United States and
uh-huh.
many in Canada are marrying outside their faith.
Okay.
Let me go back to 221, Surah Baqarah. It says, marry someone who is a maidservant or marry someone, either one, than somebody who is more beautiful or rich. What is God saying? We have to think. God asks you to think. The verses say, mutafakkirin, those who think. Quran is for them. What we are thinking here, Hassan, is what God wants is He created the universe in harmony. Surah Rahman, 55:11. 9 verse. He says He created the universe in harmony, and then He calls us Khalifa, not Muslims, the entire humanity. He calls us Khalifa, basically manager of your environment. He wants us to preserve that harmony. Now, when God says marry someone like a maidservant, what God is saying is a maidservant knows you, what you eat, when you pray, what you wear, how you do your things in life. She would be more compatible to you than a stranger who is beautiful and rich. The bottom line here is compatibility. Compatibility is the key that verse is saying. Now, let me share a few things about compatibility. The Muslim society in the earlier period, who is compatible to my daughter? Who is compatible to my son? The only thing they could think of, Muslim.
Yeah.
But today, the compatible in Hinduism, for example, who is compatible to my daughter? If his Janam Patri, or Janam Kundli matches with my daughter, then they are compatible. The idea is to brainwash or to give the idea to the children marrying that you are compatible, that means you can live happily. When they believe that, they act to be compatible. Today, that was their understanding of compatibility. Muslims, Hindus, or anybody. Today, Hassan, a boy and a girl meet in the college for 3, 4 years. They feel they are compatible. They see that the man is respecting her as an individual. She is respecting him as an individual. Then they understand what makes one tick, angry, how can you help each other grow. When this relationship develops, it is compatibility, sincere, genuine compatibility. You can look at Prophet Muhammad. Bibi Khadija hired him to do the caravans, to do as a merchant. She learned him. She saw that he was an honest person. He was caring. He tells the truth. And then she says, I've considered the courting. She saw that he was compatible to her. And that's when she proposed him. So compatibility is honest, genuine compatibility is what's happening today between a couple when they meet at work, college, commute in the train, they find themselves to be compatible. And that is what God wants, to be compatible. When you are compatible, you live in harmony.
So you want to say that if had Quran been revealed today, this verse, Surah Baqarah 221, won't be there?
It would be there, but its understanding would be different.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. When Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told his fellows, hey, you got to perform Hajj if you can afford. And when people thought of riding on a camel to Mecca, 500 years ago, if somebody said in Indonesia, Bangladesh, well, Bangladesh wasn't there at that time, Indonesia, India at that time, well, you got to go to Hajj. They thought of going in a steamboat or a sail ship.
Now, those are different things. Those are different scenarios.
I'm coming to it. 50 years ago, when somebody said going to Hajj, they thought of taking a flight. Today, if you talk about going to Hajj, they will think which airline. What you see is in the Quran, it is going to Hajj is same in all situation, but it affects how does the Quran relate to me today. This is how Quran relates to me today. I'm comfortable going in a plane rather than riding a camel.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Iman, Akhlaq, Taqwa.
No. Everything has to do with today. How does the Quran apply to me today? If Quran is for all times, it has to apply for my life today, my lifestyle, my culture, my society. If it doesn't, then something is missing there.
Okay, fine. How do you deal with mahar, then mahar, which is in chapter Surah Nisa, verse 4, that the boy has to give some then mahar to the girl, and this is a necessary part of Islamic marriage. How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. I do talk, one of the 8 steps in the marriage is mahar. We talk about mahar, even in interfaith marriage. Mahar
Explain your 8 steps, please.
Sure. Let me explain mahar and then go to the 8 steps.
Sure.
You buy life insurance policy.
Yeah.
You buy it because when you care for your spouse, husband or wife, you buy the policy. Should you not be there, this surviving spouse can carry on life comfortably. Life insurance policy did not exist 1400 years ago, even 300 years ago. So the Muslim society felt at the time women did not work outside. They worked at home. Muslim society felt if the husband is dead in a conflict or he doesn't come back home, it is wrong. It is not fair for the woman to be put in that situation. How is she going to raise the children? How is she going to put the food on the table? How is she going to pay the rent? So they decided to create a reserve fund, something to take care of her in a contingency like that. And that is mahar. And
it's a Quranic instruction though.
Yeah, that is mahar. In Hinduism, they give you a lot of jewelry to their daughter. That is something to take care of her in her retirement.
Is that a must?
It's not a must, but they do it as a practice.
Yeah, but in Islam, it's a must.
Mahar is a must. Yes.
Mahar is must.
So what we have done in the United States, almost all weddings we conduct, since both of them are independent, they can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
The requirement of mahar is substituted by exchange of rings. You exchange the rings, mahar is satisfied. On the top of it, if the guy wants to buy some jewelry, a bracelet, a necklace, whatever, he can as a part of mahar. And there are people who, there was one wedding I did, he wanted to put $50,000 in her account as a mahar. So it is entirely their choice.
Okay. So you don't make it a condition of marriage.
We talk about mahar, the only condition is substitution of rings.
Okay. Okay. So your 8 parts now.
Yeah, 8 parts. Number 1, I will ask every couple if they're marrying out of their own free will. By the way, all these 8 parts are similar in Christian, civic, and Muslim tradition, Hindu tradition, with small differences.
Okay.
The first thing is, I ask the couple if you're marrying out of your own free will. And almost all the times they say yes. Yeah. I will also ask if it is not a shotgun wedding, and people laugh. Yeah. Second is asking the parents by the names if I have their blessings to continue with the ceremony.
Wow. Okay.
The third one is talk about mahar.
No, let us finish your second point. If the parents are not there, they don't give their consent, still do you conduct the marriage?
Absolutely. They're adults. As long as they're 18 and up, they're adults. They have a right to marry. Yeah. And the only requirement is 2 witnesses and somebody to represent the bride. Yes.
Next point. Next point.
The third is mahar. I just mentioned to you what mahar is. Okay. Fourth is ijab or kabul, offer and acceptance. Yes. In the civic tradition, as a judge or even as me, if I'm doing a civic marriage, I will ask once, do you take her as husband or as wife? In Islamic tradition, we ask 3 times. And to make sure they're committed to the relationship. From there, we go to the fourth one, exchange of rings. And that is what substitution of mahar. And they exchange the rings. I will ask a few words for them. For example, I will ask, I give this ring to you, Hassan, as a symbol of my love and commitment to be your faithful wife for as long as I live. And then she places the ring. Husband does the same.
Good.
Then we do the signatures. A signature is a requirement in Islam. All transactions in Islam are to be in writing. It is to prevent confusion. Everything is clarified in writing.
Actually, in early Islam, there was no document. It was only witnesses, society's witness.
Yes. And what happened was, I have heard some stories that somebody said, okay, I marry her. Yes, I accept her as wife. Then a few days later, he said, I don't know her. I have nothing to do with her. So that is the reason we put it in writing.
No, document is needed anyway. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And then we do the signatures. We need minimum 2 witnesses.
Okay.
And it can be men or women. Traditionally, only 2 men. We don't believe in that. God has created all of us to be equal human beings, and any 2 people can sign. The idea is they're witnessing the marriage. It can be a Hindu, it can be anybody.
Yeah, adult and sane person.
Exactly.
Okay, now
there are 2 more steps. And this is something different I do. Vows. Vows is neither Islamic, nor Hindu, nor Christian, but it is a civic North American tradition, both Canadian and here. Vows is you met each other, you fell in love, you feel comfortable with each other, you feel secure with each other. Vows is after saying I do, you hold your hands and make commitments to each other. Parents love to hear that, what this guy is telling, that he's going to take care of my daughter, she's going to be secure with him. These vows by both sides will, it's part of the Hindu tradition. Sat Phere has got 7 vows. It comes from there, the vows.
Okay.
And then we go to appreciating the parents. And this is a very important part. Hassan, parents love it. Parents raise you. They don't expect any gratitude from you. They do raise you as duty. Whatever today you are with a medical doctor or a pharmacist like you, or whoever you are, it is your parents have given you foundation and you have worked on yourselves. When you're marrying, apparently you are separating from the parents. You are not attached to them, you're attaching to another couple.
Okay.
And this is the moment I call it watershed moment, separation. And
Okay.
parents don't expect that. But when the children thank them, parents, for what they have done for them, each said, parents feel good that my child is appreciating me for doing things for him. That is one side. The children also, it is a debt. When somebody does something good to you, it is a debt. That debt has to be cleared by gratitude. Children feel really good that at this moment of marriage, I'm thanking my parents.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
And
Now,
after that, I do a khutbah. Go
okay,
ahead and ask.
Yeah, I'm entering now nitty-gritties.
Okay.
Suppose a woman got divorced a week ago, and now she wants to marry someone. So according to Islamic iddat period, 3 months is not passed. Would you conduct this marriage?
No. I think they need to take time because there is always a chance. I have seen many people who gone through divorce. They won't go back to them. And I think they need to be completely clear from the previous relationship to commit to the new relationship. Otherwise, their commitment is not strong. No, I
So
would not do it.
how long is your period?
I would say 6 months. I know Islam says 90 days, but I want at least 6 months.
Okay, you want to give them a space to reconcile.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And I do help them reconcile sometimes.
Oh, well, that's great. Good to know. Next, Mr. X, Mr. Man, he has a wife. He has a wife already, and he wants to marry another woman. Would you conduct this marriage?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Until I have seen a divorce declaration by the court that they have gone through a divorce, then I will do it. If not, I will not do it.
Well, but for Muslims, a Muslim man is allowed up to 4 wives. How do you address that?
It is in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other Muslim nations. In the US, the law is you can marry only one wife at one time. So I'm following the law of the nation.
Yeah.
It would be criminal for me if I do a wedding for somebody who is already married. In fact, it happened, Hassan. There was a couple. They wanted to get married. They said, I'm going through a divorce right now, but I want to get married to this guy. And she says, no, until you finalize your divorce, I cannot. I said, I will be happy to reconcile with your ex if you want to. She says, no. Then I said, I want to see the divorce paper for me to conduct the wedding. And they waited for 6 months after they got the divorce, and we conducted the wedding. Nikah.
All right. Just the number. How many marriages you have conducted so far for how long?
400 since 2009. That is 14 years, 15 years, 15 years.
400?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
But bulk of them, last year, there were 66 weddings. And I went to 33 different cities. I also did a wedding in Calgary 2 weeks ago.
Wow. That's so good to know. Now, I believe it's all kinds of marriages, Muslim, non-Muslim, Buddhist, with sometimes atheist. I mean, it's a mixed bag.
We've done atheists too.
Good. Now, do you have a follow-up study of how many marriages you conducted are still happy after 15 years, 10 years?
399. One is going through a divorce right now. It was a Jewish Hindu marriage that I did, and they are going through a divorce. I am sitting and down and talking to them. I don't like to see the purpose of marriage is to live in happiness. I don't like to see divorce. And I wrote a note to them that accepting each other. For example, I give the example. You go to the bathroom. It's a very bad example, but makes a point. You go to the bathroom, sit there for 10 minutes, and come out. She goes to the bathroom, comes back in 10 minutes. Do we ask the rituals they followed in the bathroom? No,
No,
nobody does. So likewise, if you go to a corner and do a Jewish prayer, she goes to a corner, does the Hindu prayer. How is it a conflict?
it's
So
not a conflict.
so that's what I'm sharing with them, and I'm hoping they will not divorce. If they have created enough chasm between them, there is nothing I can do. But I am doing my best to counsel, conduct with them to retain that marriage. Yes, that is the only one so far.
Okay. I must congratulate you that out of 400 marriages, 399 succeeded.
Yes.
Now, a
Part of the
similar.
reason, Hassan,
Mhm,
when I do the consulting in the initial consulting, I do 2 to 3 hours of consulting, different time.
mhm,
One of the things I said, 3 key things to have a successful marriage. One is learning to accept and respect for who you are. As you have
mhm,
accepted each other, continue. If you
mhm.
try to change each other by threat, by manipulation, or by some other means, you will change, or your spouse will change for you, but with resentment.
Yes.
If this resentment pile up, it creates disharmony. You're marrying to live in harmony. Why do things, say things, how she drives, how she wears her clothes, how she eats, or how you eat, how you drive? Let it be. You've been doing this. If you try to compel, then it creates disharmony. That
Yeah.
is one. And I share a full blown consulting how to deal with festivities and things like that. When we do that, as a result, uh, I was in another wedding about 3 months ago, and the bride's friend, I had officiated her wedding 8 years ago. She walks up. I said, Uncle. I don't know why they call me Uncle. I asked them to call me Mike, but they call me Uncle. Uncle, I just want you to tell you that every time we were going into a conflict, all of a sudden your words come to mind. Everything we do, everything we say should contribute towards harmony, not disharmony. And she said that has given us happiness, and we have been conflict free for the last 8 or 9 years.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, let me share you similar experience, and I will ask for your comment.
Okay.
There is a mosque in Oxford University city. It is a city
In London.
in London. Yes.
Okay.
So the organization is MICO, Muslim Educational Center of Oxford. There is a mosque. It's an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Its founding father is Maulana,
Mm-hmm.
Imam Taj Harge. So I had the opportunity to be there in 3 Islamic events,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw him doing the same thing as you are doing. So definitely, as a Muslim, I asked him the same questions I asked you. One of his answers was, man, your answers are very similar, but he was more in Islamic theology because he's in Maulana.
Yes.
He came from madrasa background, very solid man. Uh, he said that in his form, especially when the boy and girl are Hindus and, sorry, Muslims and non-Muslim. In his form, there is a clause that in this house, no anti-Islamic practices will enter.
Would
No
you repeat?
alcohol,
Okay.
no alcohol will enter. No pork will enter.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your comment on this?
I think it's a good thing because many people, alcohol, I'm not talking from an Islamic point of view, from a common sense point of view, alcohol is not good for you. One. Number two, pork, if it is, you are not dying to have pork, you can exclude pork from your life.
Yeah.
If it is giving you some sense of common sense, then you can exclude both alcohol. And people ask me, Hassan, in the wedding, in the reception, can we have alcohol? And I said, please don't do that. You can do it later on, whenever you want, in your rooms or privately, but not as a gathering. No alcohol
Okay.
and no pork.
So in your weddings, there is never any alcohol or any pork.
No.
Very good. What about beef?
Beef, if they're Muslims from our traditions like South Asia, usually they don't eat beef. They usually have goat or lamb or chicken. But beef eating, if I will always mention to them, if you're inviting your Hindu friends, make
Yes.
sure there is enough vegetarian items on the menu for them to eat. They should not feel excluded.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Mike. This is something very new it's a very new development in the world, theological world today. And I think only Dr. Maulana Taj Harge and only two people in the whole Muslim world, you are doing this type of interfaith marriage without conversion, and Muslims with Hindus, which is actually a blow to the conservative thought process of Muslim world.
Let me
I'm
share
not,
with yeah. Let me share.
okay,
You mentioned no conversion. The Quran says very clearly in chapter 30, verse 21, that it is God who created the universe. It is God who puts love and compassion between two souls. Islam came for humanity, not for Muslims. Muslims became a group afterwards between two souls. It can be any two souls. And following Prophet Muhammad, this is an advice I give to some parents. Say, can you convert him? Can you talk to him or her to convert to Islam? I said,
okay.
no, I'm not going to do it because Prophet Muhammad said, you become an example. I tell the parents, if you become a model Muslim, not continuously, constantly telling him to convert, or Islam is good and all that, he will resist. She will resist. Don't do it. Be a model Muslim, caring for other people, respecting everybody's life, and do for being an Amin. Then there is a chance that that person may want to be Muslim. This is how Islam spread. And follow that guidelines. You can't go wrong.
Thank you very much. Actually, I live in Canada. Canadian civilization taught me not to be judgmental, not to judge others. This is the beauty of Western civilization. So I don't judge others. I'm not judging you. I only,
Can I interrupt you there again?
sure, sure. Go ahead.
Every Muslim, if they pray 5 times a day, minimum 17 times, if they do Sunnah and Nafil prayers, 51 times. In this Surah Fatiha, they say, Maliki Yawmiddin. Only God will judge your faith. You have no
Yeah.
right to judge anybody.
Yes, yes.
Same as a Canadian civilization, American civilization, Islamic civilization tells you not to judge others' faith. You can
Yeah.
judge if they do wrong, steal, thief, you can judge, but not their deen, not their faith.
Well, unfortunately, back home, I'm from Bangladesh, now in Canada. We always judge each other, and we always pass comment on each other's anything and everything, and that
Yeah.
creates problem. So when I came to Canada, I learned to be non-judgmental. I am so much at peace. I am not judging anyone. I am not judging your this effort, but I feel that it's a very new phenomena in the whole Muslim world, and it's a blow actually to the Muslim mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, in one sense, we Muslims are suffering from intellectual constipation since last 1,000 years. So we are very hesitant and resistant to anything new.
Yes.
We don't even judge if it is good or if it is bad, if it is
Yeah.
bringing people together, or if it is creating peace or violence.
Yes.
We don't before doing that we just judge and pass opinion. So
Yes.
thank you very much. If you brought 399 peaceful home out of 400, then possibly your process is working well. I think
Alhamdulillah.
thank you very much. I will post it in my Facebook so
Thank you so much.
that people can think on it. I'm not encouraging. I'm telling you, I'm not encouraging anyone to take your service. I am not discouraging anyone from taking your service.
Absolutely.
I am only informing you that, see, this is something new is happening. Think of it, think on it, and take it further if you can. Thank you
By,
very much.
by the way, 30% of the weddings I have done are Bangladeshi women.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it's high time you learn Bangla.
I need to, because I'm talking to the parents constantly. By the way, you are my, you and Dr. Farooq are my intellectual connections on Islam. And from you two, I have found more Bangladeshis, as I'm talking to the parents about these interfaith marriages, are more Bangladeshis are progressive and open-minded compared to Muslims from other nations.
Oh, don't say that. They will kill you. Thank you very much.
Only Allah can kill me.
Thank you very much. I
Assalamu
wish you
alaikum.
all the best. Assalamu alaikum.